I'm here with Jeremy Jones, my fellow commentator. We're in Saudi Arabia for the history-making World Pool Championships, what is going to start in just a few days' time. We're going to have a bit of fun, Jeremy. We're going to try and pick out some players, some of the top famous players, some of the unknowns, some of the young ones, and we'll have a little bit of chat through the field. First of all, it's a little bit warmer than last year.
Yeah, a bit warmer. Poland, I think we had blizzard every day. No chance of that here in Jeddah, that's for sure.
Yeah, just behind us, this is the fan zone. They're still building, that's why it's a little bit noisy. Right, let's kick things off. Last year, defending champion Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Fantastic run he went on, and he's going to come here inside this arena as defending champion.
Yeah, I think he's going to be highly motivated. I don't think he's had the run that he had before. Who could? He's fallen off at times. But I think he's getting back in form and highly motivated, like you said, to maybe be a back-to-back champion.
Yeah, we spoke about him quite recently at some of the events, Premier League Pool, UK Open. Seems to be playing well, maybe not getting quite the results, but it's so tough, isn't it, to keep winning? Yeah,
and we keep kind of holding him up to that bar he had set so high for some 18 months, something we really had never seen before, at least in the modern era pool, so I think the pressure's starting to relieve a little bit with him after some hardware change at the end of last year. I think he's going to settle in for this World Championship.
Right, we're going to pick out 6 previous champions that myself and JJ want to talk about. JJ, you kick things off. Shane van Boening, former champion.
Yeah, just 2 years ago in Milton Keynes, he took down a title that had eluded him for some time. He always talked about traveling abroad and not playing his best pool. I think he's in a great setting. I think I always talk about Shane the last 20 years, kind of like Efren. When the money got the biggest or the title got the biggest, he seemed to get there. So I wouldn't count him out at all.
We spoke about at the Premier League, he was never off the practice table. He ended up winning the event, but there's a couple of moments throughout the week where he did look very tired, and we spoke about not seeing him eat or go outside the venue. What do you think? You know Shane better than anyone. What will he have done before this event?
Well, he had a commitment in Vegas to a league over there the last week or so. I think that's a good thing for him to get his mind off for a minute. He was hitting a lot of balls regardless, getting ready for this World Nineball Championships. But to have some friendly fanfare, if you will, I think will ease the tension. I think he got a lot of support when he was leaving to come here. I think he may be in the air right now. But yeah, I like his chances. Hopefully, he doesn't put too much pressure on every shot. That's the one thing I worry about with Shane. Yeah,
right. Let's go from American to European. Somebody who I always back, Joshua Filler. He's won it before. He's still a young man. He's done everything in the sport of Nineball. Where do you see his chances?
Well, I think he comes in as the favorite, and I think even without the year he's had so far, he would probably be the favorite. But he's had an incredible 2024. It's been, 6 years since he's won the title, I think, which is amazing probably to all of us. That's how great Filler is. But I think he comes in as the favorite, and he's going to try and take it down.
The only thing I would say about Joshua is, you talk about him being the favourite. At the last event, UK Open, he had a chance against Capito, didn't get over the line. And I feel like the World Masters final against Fedor Gorst, I feel like he blew that one as well. Anything you see there or not?
Yeah, I mean, since we've introduced the tighter pockets and the different break rule, we can definitely see a little difference in Filler's, overall outcome in these events. Didn't make the team by points last year for the Mosconi Cup, which would be alarming to a lot of players, right? Or a lot of people when it comes to Filler. But yeah, I think it's a different beast out there for him. The 7 breaking runs in the Whirlpool Master Final, hard to believe he didn't win that, but that just shows you how good his opponent was.
Yeah, well, let's talk about his opponent, Fedor Gorst. He's got to come here as, if Filler's the favourite, he's got to be chasing the pack close.
Yeah, I mean, day in, day out, I don't think there's much separation between Filler and Federer. It's a little different styles at times, a little more of the machine-like from Gorst, I think, where Filler just shows us everything all the time,
Do you think Federer's the best player on tour right now?
Day in, day out, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think he's took the mantle as well. Right, a guy who's won it twice, been in 3 finals, Albin Ocean. He sort of goes about his business a little quiet, doesn't he, and then he just creeps up. He's got to be one of the favourites here, hasn't he, Albin?
Normally, I would say yes. But he's got to show us a little something early. This is by far, in my opinion, the greatest field we've ever had, and so there's nothing easy.
He doesn't usually do that though, does he? He usually plays pretty poor, through the early rounds, and then all of a sudden, when the trophy starts to look like he's going to grab it, or the big checks, I feel like he grows into a tournament album.
Well, I agree with that, and I think any great player like him would do so. But the problem is, you can't stumble that much anymore. You really can, even as a top-ranked, top-seeded player, especially in a field like this. You're going to have to come out of the gates, maybe not with the A+ game, but you can't have the B- game and expect to advance.
Right, and then Copigny, class player, won the Masters, not just gone the year before. Obviously, he's a former champion. What a player he is, JJ.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorites to watch. He's already had a pretty good 2024. I think he finished second in the PLP with all that pool. He's kind of quietly goes about his business also, and I don't know if he likes the limelight, but he sure likes holding the trophies. I know that.
Yeah, and last but not least, out of the 6 players we're speaking about, a Filipino. We've got to have a Filipino in there. Karl. Not seen much of him playing in a lot of the World Nineball Tour events, but surely he's going to be near the end as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Former champion of both the World Nineball and the U.S. Open. When he decides to play, he's not there just to fill a seat. He's going to try and win the event. Probably one of the most consistent Filipinos.
And creative as well.
Of all. Yeah, and such a great cue ball, but like all the greatest, can come with the big shot and the big moments.
Right, talking of Filipinos, we're in Saudi Arabia. Wherever we go, wherever you've been playing pool, Filipino fans, they're always there, aren't they?
Yeah, they pretty much live worldwide, and they all keep track of the pool. And every one of them here in Saudi Arabia that is a resident of some sort knows this tournament's going on. Right,
let's talk about the Filipinos. Who do you like outside of Biado?
Well, I know he's a good friend of mine, of course, a guy I've always loved, James Aranas, who had a big win in the World Cup alongside Johan Shua. I saw some at the UK Open to where I think his cueing is getting better. I think he's trying to cue the ball better.
In what sense? What do you mean?
It just seemed more pure. It always had. And almost like he's learning how to handle the nerves even better. And we all know he's a nervous man when he plays. As he goes on, he gets a little better with it. But I think he's a little bit of a threat.
I like Raga. Obviously, he had such a good run at the, when David Alcady beat him in the European Open. Didn't quite get over the line. But they say in the Philippines, he's one of the best money players. He's one of the best players in the Philippines. I think he's the Filipino who I'm really looking to go deep in this event.
Yeah, I love Raga's game. He plays his style, which you got to love.
Yep.
And I think, like we talk about the UK Open a lot, he's one of those players that is playing to win, not to lose, in that sense or that mentality. So you got to like it. He's going to be shooting at him from the start.
What do you think about the young Filipinos, like Bernie Regalaro, Karl Amoroto? Do you think they could come here and, surprise the field?
Well, we've had some surprises in this World Nineball Championship before. Maybe not as a guy hoisting the trophy so much, but definitely some deep runs. You know as well as I do, the youth, they can surprise you in a month's time. We just saw them a month ago at the UK Open, so they can be even better and a little more seasoned.
Yeah, and then we've got Robbie Capito just winning the UK Open. He's got some Filipino in him. Let's talk about some possibles of this event. We've picked out some players who have never won the World Championships, but we feel like maybe this is their time. I'm going to kick things off, Jason Shaw. He's playing well, he's been in the gym, he's going deep. When he's losing, it's close, and he's bringing his family here. I think he's in a good mindset.
Yeah, and I think, that loss in the last tournament to Bongers, he wasn't too happy about it, but it was a different kind of upset to me. He wasn't picking apart every roll or every break, which I think is a good sign for Jason. Plus, he's right back here on the same tables that he won in Vietnam just 5-6 months ago. So that can bring back some positive vibes.
Yeah, who else do you like? I like Chang Jung-Lin. Someone who's never quite lifted that big silverware up, but again, a player that's been deep in all these big tournaments.
Yeah, and he's always been one of my favorites. He hasn't really performed post-COVID like I thought he would. Kind of changed his game, to the Chinese 8-ball a little bit for a while.
Yep.
But I think he's starting to get his pull stroke back.
Sanjin Polovanovic?
He's a fighter, just like Pazelj. I think I put them in the same class, maybe Mickey Krause as well. Super talented. Maybe just taking some time to get their seasoning, but definitely big threats.
Spanish Open champion DAZN comes in from nowhere, wins the Spanish Open, disappears, then he comes back to the Premier League, doesn't play great at all. Then we've not really seen him again since. Now he's back playing the World Championships. Can he go on and lift this title, have a good run?
Yeah, I think he's one of those players, though, that, you know, a little open, or I don't want to say wild with the cue ball, but he's a free-spirited player at the table, I might say, or you might say. But I think if he has a couple good matches early, and it doesn't have to be over big names, I mean, they're all big names, but it doesn't have to be over the cream of the crop. But if he can get a little self-confidence going into some of these, that's what we saw at the PLP. He really lost his confidence early, and it affected him.
What about somebody like Oscar Dominguez, Pius Labutus, these type of players where they've been quite consistent in the lead up to the World Championships?
Well, I don't think you have to question Pius Labutus at all. I mean, what he's done, what was he, runner-up at the Derby, 500 players, a big grind, went to the UK Open, semifinalist also at the Spanish Open last year, I believe. So it doesn't matter the setting. It seems like Labutus is going to play his game, and he's going to have to take somebody to beat him. He's not going to give it away.
Right, next topic I want to talk about is us older players, us older men.
Yeah.
Where do you see, if somebody, you know, like Al-Qaeda, I think he was 45 when he won the European Open. The beauty with Nineball and the tour, what we've got right now, is you've got young players going all the way up to like middle 50s, if you like. Who are the players, I don't want to say knocking on a bit, but, you know, coming to that latter stages of the career, can someone still snap it off, do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, it's
Darren
Appleton, Thorsten Holman, Niels Fan, you know, 3 former world champions, I believe, right? Thing is, in sports, you know, in our sport, those guys stay in good shape, but in our sport, it doesn't require day in, day out stamina. You need it, of course, but, you know, it's more about if the adrenaline gets going, those guys know how to win.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how them boys go on. Obviously, Ralph Souquet, he's still there batting away. He might be the oldest player in the field, actually.
Had a pretty solid UK Open, even though, you know, he didn't advance as far, though. He took some tough losses, but had some nice wins.
Right, let's talk about Middle Eastern players. Last year, Francisco won the event, but he beat a surprise package in Mohamed Soufi, come from nowhere. Soufi, a week ago, just won European Tour event.
Yeah, I like Soufi a lot, actually. I was watching, of course, they're replaying last year's final in the venue, and what a venue it is. We'll talk about it later, but yeah, Soufi is another one. When that quick stroke gets going and that confidence is there, I don't think there's a player out there that really wants to draw Soufi. And, you know, I think you're going to have some Middle Eastern or Gulf Shore players that are going to do well.
Well, just before we started filming, we were talking about Middle Eastern players. We got Omar Al-Shaheen got to the final, didn't he? Abdullah Al-Yusuf.
Semi-finalists.
Semi-finals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Are these the players who, you know, can go on that bit of a run? Would you be surprised to see somebody like that win the title?
Well, yeah, you'd be a little surprised, but just like I said a few minutes ago, once the adrenaline gets going and you have a few good matches, it's a good thing about 9-ball pool. There's no one out there tackling you, right? Or you know, it's all about what's in your own way more than what your opponent's doing.
Obviously, we don't know a lot about the Saudi Arabian national team, the players. One name we do know about is Khalid Al-Ghamdi, young junior player. I think he's 18, 19 now. Solid player. He's had a couple of good results. He's travelled a lot playing. We've not seen much of him. Is he the sort of name from Saudi who we would expect to go on and maybe cause some sort of upsets here?
Yeah, I think Saudi's expecting that as well. And Khalid, I tell you, super talented. I think every now and again, just a shot or two is missing, and experience-wise, that has cost him some matches and maybe some bigger wins. But you know, he's super stoked to be here in this World Nineball Championships. So you got to expect his best pool.
Well, there's 128 players. We're in Saudi Arabia. We've been around the pool halls. We're getting looked after. We've been inside the venue. Nobody has seen the venue yet. JJ, what is it going to be like in there?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty incredible. I think all the players are going to have big smiles, a heart pumping. They may have to settle themselves before that first match, but I personally can't wait till June 3rd.
Right, listen, on the spot, pick a player. Who's going to win it?
I'm going a little outside the box.
Okay.
Not too far. I'm going to go with Sky Woodward.
Skylar Woodward. I'm going to go for... I'm going to say Joshua Fuller. I know I always pick him, but I just think Joshua Fuller's going to get it done. Joshua Fuller, Skylar Woodward. Starts on the 3rd of June, live on Sky Sports, 7 p.m. English time, local TV, SSCC. If you want to know where to watch it, go on matchroompool.com and find out where you can watch it in your region. It's going to be massive, 6 days of non-stop 9-ball pool action.